In India, Karnataka is not only considered as one of the most picturesque and beautiful states, but also as one of the most progressive. It is ironic that a state that got the first hydroelectric power station in India is still home to the hungry. A state with its capital Bangalore, considered the Silicon Valley of India, housing the biggest international names, can't care for the hungry, can't do something about it. And that is precisely what one of the most progressive governments in the country is proposing to do. The most progressive, humane, the Karnataka Food Security Program Act 2005. Our story starts with a basic survey in the two districts of Davangere and Gadag. And the results were both astonishing and saddening. Did you know, on an average in the two districts surveyed among the most oppressed people, there are 16% physically handicapped, 7% mentally challenged, 23% aged above 60, and the number of orphans is really frightening. Did you know that 6 out of 10 of the most oppressed physically handicapped don't get food, or 2 out of 3 of the mentally challenged, or 14 out of every 100 aged people don't get food? 61% of these most oppressed people have only one set of clothes. And what about the future of our country, the children? More than 50% of the innocent orphans don't get one basic meal a day. This average for the two districts can be said to be the overall average of Karnataka in general. Karnataka, being the most advanced state in the country, proposes to do something about it. In fact, Karnataka will be the first state in India to be proactive about hunger. The first state in India to make entitlement for food a human rights issue. We propose something simple, a law which guarantees and secures food to the most oppressed and neglected section of our population. Basically, a food security bill, an act that makes sure that no person is deprived of his legislative right to food. We want to see that every beneficiary under the act shall be guaranteed against living in hunger and is ensured healthy food through a state department or agency. To ensure that the needy need not beg for their food. To ensure that they are not just beneficiaries, but to make food a right by law. To make food reach every last man in every last village. And to make sure they receive it with self-respect. And what better service can a government do for its people than to ensure that they live in dignity and ensure that no one goes hungry? Who are the people we feel should benefit from the food security bill? The mental and physically handicapped who have no means to a livelihood and have no one to take care of them. In fact, lack of food in many cases is the cause of mental or physical illness. In the great Indian culture, which prides itself on family values and taking care of its elders, there are many who have no family and have been abandoned. The future of our great state and our country, our children, especially our orphaned children, who will take care of them if we don't? And last but not the least, the absolute poor, an individual and family whose income is below the prescribed limit. What can the state do and how? Prepare a program for delivering benefits under the Act. Identify the beneficiaries. Appoint state agencies at the district, taluk and village levels to secure and distribute food. Identify agencies for the implementation of the program and fix responsibilities. Provide the required communication and transport to places where the beneficiaries reside. thus making food available and easily accessible. A state-level high-power committee comprising of senior ministers and officers shall be constituted under the Act to advise, implement and monitor the program. Provision for action against deficiencies and non-performance. What is the necessity for such an enactment? Can a human being live without food? Isn't it the basic need? Isn't it a fundamental right? Aren't we the government the only hope for the poor and the needy? Aren't we the government the only power that can address this very basic human rights issue? It is simple. It is to make everyone in the government conscious. See that the concerned person is made accountable and responsible. Every person will ensure that the food reaches the needy. A well-fed human being, old, poor or handicapped, is a happier person. A health makes a strong, happy future citizen. A happy population makes a great state and a great nation. And if we, the government, don't do something, who else will? In fact, we, Karnataka, will be the first state in the great nation of India to propose such a purely humanitarian bill. A bill that protects and ensures the very basic right of our citizens. The noblest deed that we can perform is to see that this proposal becomes a reality. And when it does, imagine a content state. Imagine a future filled with the happiness of our people. Imagine